Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Priska. I'm from TBI 3 and I want to explain 13 kinds of text in English. The first, recount text. Social function to retell events for the purpose of informing or entertaining. Generic structure, number 1. The first, their orientation. Who were involved, when and where was it happened. The second, events. Event can be more, event 1, event 2, event 3. Tell what happened in a chronological order. And the last, their reorientation. Insignificant lexicogrammatical features focus on specific participants, use of material process, circumstance of time and place, use of past tense, focus on temporal sequence. And then there's spoof, social function to retell an event with a humorous twist. Generic structure, number 1, orientation. Who were involved, when and where was happened. The second, their events. Tell what happened in a chronological order. The last, their twist. Insignificant lexicogrammatical features focus on individual participant, use of material process, circumstance of time and place, use of past tense. And then number 3, their description. Social function to describe a particular person, animal, place, or thing. Generic structure, the first, identification. Identify phenomena to be described. The second, their description. Describe parts, qualities, and characteristics. Significant lexicogrammatical features of description. Their focus on specific participants, use of attributive and identifying processes, frequent use of epithets and classifiers in nominal groups, use of simple present tense. And then number 4, their reports. Social function to describe the way things are with reference to a range of natural, man-made, and social phenomena in our environment. In generic structure, their general classification, and then their description. Tell the details of topics such as physical appearance, qualities, habits, or behavior. Insignificant grammatical features focus on generic participants, use of relational processes to state what is and that which it is. Use of simple present tense, no temporal sequence. And then number 5, their narrative. Social function to amuse, entertain, and to deal with actual or vicarious experience in different ways. Narratives deal with problematic events which lead to a crisis or turning point of some kind, which in turn finds a resolution. In generic structure, the first, their orientation. The second, their complication. A problem arises and followed by other problems. And the last, their resolution. Provide solution to the problem. Insignificant lexicogrammatical features focus on specific and usually individuals participant. Use of material process or behavior and verbal processes. Use of relational processes and mental processes. Use of temporal conjunction and temporal circumstance. Use of past tense. Number 6, their analytical exposition to persuade. Social function to persuade the reader or listener that something is the case. In generic structure, the first, their thesis position, usually includes a preview argument. And then their arguments consist of a point and elaboration sequence. The number of points may vary, but each must be supported by discussion and evidence. And the last, their conclusion. Significant grammatical features focus on generic human or non-human participant, use of simple present tense, use of relational processes, use of internal conjunction to stage argument, reasoning through casual conjunction or nominalization. And then number 7, their explanation. Social function to explain the process involved in the formation or workings of natural or socio-cultural phenomena. And then in generic structure, there are a general statement to position the reader or writer. And then the second, their explanation of why or how something occurs. And then the last, their closing or conclusion. Insignificant grammatical features focus on generic non-human participants, use of mainly of material and relational processes, use mainly of temporal and casual, circumstance and conjunction, use of simple present tense, some use of passive voice to get them right. Number 8, their procedure. Social function to show how something is accomplished through a sequence of action or steps. In generic structure, the first, their goals, the final purpose of doing the interaction. The second, their materials needed, ingredients and equipment to do the interaction. And then the last steps, step 1, 2, 3 and so on. Insignificant lexicogrammatical features focus on generalized human agents, use of simple present tense, often imperative, use mainly of temporal conjunction or numbering to indicate sequence, use mainly of material processes. Number 9, their discussion. Social function to present at last 2 points of view about an issue. In generic structure, their issue, argument, point, elaboration, argument against, and conclusion. Insignificant grammatical features focus on generic human and generic non-human participants, use material process, for example, has produced, have developed, to fit relational process, and then mental process, for example, feel, use of comparative, contrastive, and consequent and consequential conjunction, reasoning expressed, so verb and noun, abstraction. And then number 10, their hortatory exposition, social function to persuade the reader or listener should not be the case. In generic structure, their thesis, stating an issue of concern, and then arguments, giving reasons for concern, and then the last, their recommendation, stating what should or should not to happen. Insignificant lexicogrammatical features focus on generic human and non-human participant except for speaker or writer referring to self, use of mental processes to state what writers think or feel about issue, for example, release, feel, appreciate. Material processes to state what happens, for example, polluting, drive, travel, spend, should be treated. And then in relational processes to state what is or should be, for example, doesn't seem to have been, is use of simple present tense. And then number 11, their anecdote, social function to share with others an account of an unusual or amusing incident. In generic structure, their abstract orientation, crisis, incident, and coda. In significant grammatical features, use of exclamation, rhetorical question, and intensifiers, use of material process to tell what happened, use of temporal. And then number 12, they are news item, social function to inform readers, listeners, or viewers about events of the day that are considered newsworthy or important. In generic structure, the first they are newsworthy events, background events, last they are source. In significant grammatical features, short telegraphic information about the story captured in the headline, use of material process to retell the event, use of projecting verbal processes in the search stage, focus on circumstance. Number 13, they are reviews, social function to critique an artwork or even for a public audience. Such works of art include movies, TV shows, books, plays, opera, recording, exhibition, concert, and balls. In generic structure, the first they are orientation, the second they are evaluation, and then they are interpretative recount, and then the last they are evaluative summation. In significant grammatical features, focus on particular participants, direct expression of opinions through, use of attitudinal lexes, use of metaphorical language. That's all for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.